Hello, everyone. It's me, Butterfly Spirit, aka Michelle. So, guys, it is an early Sunday morning. I woke up from this like nightmare, so to speak, and I want to tell you guys about it and speak a little bit of knowledge about why I feel that I had this dream um, and how it connects to my past. So, I had this dream where I was living in the house where my mom is right now, which is my grandma's house. Um, and what happened was is that in the dream, I felt the sense of not being good enough because there was a like woman there or something like that who was not my mom, but it was some woman there. What was happening was she was like pulling my hair, you know, and you know because like my hair wasn't done a certain way or done the right way, and I felt like pain from like my hair being pulled and stuff like that, and stuff, and like I was able to see like the back of my hair, how it was like back of my hair was like matted or whatever and stuff, that the hair that was like grabbing and stuff was like back of my hair and stuff. And also there was a point in the dream where I felt like I had to be content with the situation, and that made me feel trapped, you know. And I also felt like in the dream I saw that like there was my fingers, and on one of my fingers I saw that there was money. There was like a little like dollar bills, and they were wrapped around my fingers and stuff like that. It was like as though they were like fashioned into um, like a little ring or something with like it was like they was like dollar bills like made into like a ring or something that wrapped around like this part of my finger, like from here to here. Okay, like from here to here, and it was around my finger, this finger, this one right here. And so, and it was a small amount of money, and it was around my finger, and I wasn't sure why. And that in that dream, I'm gonna make an assumption here that it was basically me living on meager means and not having enough to feel like I was thriving, and it was showing how money was it was something where I had to be content with that. Okay. And in the dream, I remember having this really strong, paralyzing fear. And this fear, I really don't know altogether why I had this fear, but um, I had a fear that was beyond fear, which I believe was the fear of the unknown, because, like I told you, I felt trapped, right? And the fear I think was of like stuff like it was the fear of making decisions towards getting out of the situation and not being able to see it through, feeling like I would like fail, or feeling like I just like it was impossible and then I just had to stay with things. And like no matter what, I just had to be content with it. And so you know and I think that fear, like I think there's a lot of things that fear was associated with during that time. I mean, and the dreams referencing my past too. So like the fear of not like the fear of a lot of things. So I'm not gonna say there's like perfect things that like a perfect example, like not even perfect examples, but things like with the fear that I can like explain, but like in my mind, like I'm turning it over and saying, well, I know I had a lot of fears, that existed in my past. When I lived with my mom, there was the fear of my car being stolen, you know, um, and stuff. There was the fear of walking around my neighborhood because I lived in a neighborhood that had, it was basically was not a safe neighborhood where people were getting killed, a few streets over, or some, over this way, or a few streets over that way, or way down off the way somewhere. Or there was the fear of like people trying to victimize me and stuff like that. Um, I would say the strongest fear was the fear of dying, the fear of being killed. Um, and I just had a collection of fears, that existed, and I also had the fear people were gonna find out, you know, like kids at school would find out, like, what my life was like, and the fact that I didn't have as much as everybody else, and stuff like that. That was a very powerful fear that I had, you know. And so I just had that fear, and I just felt like I could not speak out and I couldn't really say anything. And I just had to deal with it. So let's talk about how this resonates with my real actual life and how the dream actually did. Now the dream, I'm gonna go forward and finish the dream though. So the dream, there was a part in the dream where I saw an opportunity where my dad and my brother came. And when they came, like I went downstairs to answer the door. My dad and my brother were there, and they were both there, and they were saying like, "Oh well, you know, you mean you're gonna get a job? You mean you're gonna go and do this? You're gonna do that? You're gonna actually do that and stuff." And I think I got so fed up with the situation that I just decided to get up and leave. And I didn't care what happened. I just left. And the dream showed it as me going to get a job and stuff like that or whatever and leaving from there, you know, because in the dream I didn't walk out with, I didn't have anything with me. I just kind of walked out and decided I was going to leave, regardless of the situation. Now, the reason why I feel like the dream showed that is because at the time, that's what I thought was going to get me out was getting some great job and then being able to leave completely. Okay. Now, how does this relate to real life? The dream relates to real life. So, element of the dream of not feeling good enough. So, that part relates to real life because, with my hair being pulled, because, and stuff like that, and my hair being matted, because when I was a kid, I remember I went swimming and, like my cousins and stuff, went swimming and stuff. And what happened is that my hair got because I was swimming and stuff, my hair got all it did what's called locking up, and it got like matted and stuff or whatever because I was swimming and stuff like that. And I guess like I don't know if it was because like of something that I did, which I don't assume it was something I did. I just think that my hair was dirty and then I went swimming and then like the chlorine, like as my hair moved around, it got tangled or whatever and stuff when I was swimming and stuff like that and stuff. And it was really, my hair got really matted and tight and stuff. And when I was a kid, I remember my sister like had like I got back to like my aunt's house because that's who I was visiting, and that's whose house I was staying over that particular weekend. And so I got back and my hair was like really tangled and matted and everything and stuff from like the chlorine and swimming and stuff. And then like it was like really hard to get my hair apart and stuff, and um, like the feeling of like my hair being stuck like that, and feeling like hurting to be touched or whatever. You know, that was something that resonated with when I was a child. And at the time when my hair was all like matted and knotted up and stuff, I felt really ashamed. I felt really sad. I cried and stuff like that. And I felt really bad because I felt like, well, why wasn't my hair, you know, why wasn't why did my hair stay okay and stay good, so that I wouldn't have to have my hair hurt and it'd be a pain for it to get like tangled and stuff like that. So, you know, in my past I did have something like that based off my hair. And um now my sister did try to untangle my hair, so she's like washed my hair. She like washed my hair, but it was like hard to get through those like hairs and stuff and separate them, and it hurt really, really bad. I remember screaming it was hurt, to get my hair untangled and stuff. And I think that the fact that my dream referenced the fact of my hair being matted and stuff is because I think, as far as my hair is concerned, I've always been like told by family that, oh, well, your hair has to be this way, your hair has to be that way, you know, and you got to look like this, you got to look like that. And the thing is that as a kid, you can be shamed into looking a certain way based off of how people around you want you to look, and this is something that I had to go through as a kid. I had to be, you know, I had to be like in situations where like I was made fun of because of my hair or not having the right clothes and stuff like that. And I felt bad about it, you know. And there's still that pressure from people I know who, you know, want me to look a certain way or be a certain way, especially with my image, with like what my hair looks like, and that they want me to wear my hair the way they want me to wear it. But, at this point, I'm an adult, so I can do whatever the hell I want to, you know. And you know, I think that people, in my family felt like it was okay for them to do that you know, because it was acceptable to make fun of or poke fun at somebody, not looking their best, And I think the reason why with the matted hair, that was something that caused me the most pain, I think, is because I was really sad about it and I was made fun of for my hair not being able to be, done and stuff. And it was like, I think that it was just something that really scarred me and made me feel really bad. So, the not good enough thing, really runs deep for me because it's something that I know all too well, and now y'all might say it's fucked up that, well, that I feel like not good enough because my family, but, my family's going by, the fact of making people feel a certain way and making them feel bad, you know, and they don't know that they're doing it. They just think it's funny. They don't think about the feelings or anything like that. Now, I'm not going to say people make me feel like that all the time. No, but yes, there was occasions where people did make me feel bad because of my hair or because, I didn't have the right clothes or I didn't have the right shoes or I didn't look the right way. You know what I'm saying? There were times when it did happen, and stuff like that can really scar a person to the point where, you know, as an adult, it makes you feel like you have to look a certain way or be a certain way, you know. And yeah, I still have people who, you know, make the comment about what my hair looks like. The fact that, um, that they'll say, "Oh, well, why your hair still like that? Well, why aren't you, why don't you have such and such in your hair? Why don't you this and that or whatever?" And make fun of, like, what my hair looks like and stuff like that, when in reality, I don't have to deal with that. And I think that, the more I live my life as an adult, and the more I you know, the more I age, the more that I realize that that doesn't really matter, you know. Um, so I'm gonna go forward with the other thing. Um, so the part in the dream that I had where, like, I had the little ring of money on my finger attached around my the money ring around my finger. That represented me being content with meager means, meaning that, you know, when I was a kid, I had little to no money, and my family didn't have a lot of money. So I just had to deal with having little bits of money. Okay. And so what that meant is that, I had to do without. And I had to be okay with doing without, you know. And I now realize that living by meager means that, you know, that I didn't have some of the things that I truly needed. And I now realize that it's silly that I was expected to live by those means with only living off a minimal amount of money, because I have an apartment with my fiance, and, you know, that little money that, you know, that people made a big deal off of when I was a kid, and also when I was like in my teen years, you know, it made no sense, because some of my bills in my apartment were higher than the amount of money that I was given when I needed stuff, you know. And, when I would get the little bit of money, I felt like I had to walk on eggshells just to get it and deal with people just because, people that I knew, you know what I'm saying? And I think that, like, nobody should have to live like that. They shouldn't have to feel like they got to do that just to get money, just to, when they're asking for money from, like, someone that, in their family, and they feel like they got to walk on eggshells. I think that's mighty fucked up, And I now realize that, like I said, the little tiny amount of money that, you know, people would be talking about, well, it's a lot of money and this and that other, and going off about it, whatever, and how much it is. Well, I realize now that that wasn't shit, because, like I said, my bills, I got bills that are like, you know, that are like high. You know what I'm saying? So, like, when I was like in my seniors or whatever, and I asked for money, I'd get like, sometimes there would be the big thing about getting $20 or $30 or $40. You know what I'm saying? Or $50. You know what I'm saying? $20 is usually what I, or getting, like, even $10. Like, that was a big thing, and somebody in my family did make it seem like, that was a lot, and it was inconvenient, whatever. But now I realize, I'm like, well, damn, having my own apartment, on groceries, I'll spend over $100 on groceries. You know what I'm saying? Rather than, like, when I was in my seniors and when I was a kid, like, I wouldn't have very much to, like, to eat and stuff, and we didn't have a refrigerator or anything to keep stuff cold. So, like, so we had to eat stuff, you know, um, as fast as possible and stuff like that, and that's what we'd have to do, And so, being content with that little money at $20, it can make stuff go fast, especially because we didn't, like, have, like, a stove or anything like that, like a like yeah, like a stove or whatever. We had an oven, but not a stove, so it may go really fast, So now I realize, as an adult, it's mighty damn silly that being content with that little bit, the little bit of money, was really something that had to be made out to be something that didn't have to be. $20 doesn't really go very far. It really doesn't. I can tell you because that's what I have to I just have to put over that in my car, because I gotta put oil in my car because my car has an oil leak, and I have to put gas in my car, and you know what I'm saying. $20 to me could be gone because I gotta go back and forth to work, and I gotta drive, and when I drive, like you know, it could be gone in a matter of a few days. You know what I'm saying? And so, the thing about getting yelled at about a minimal amount of money, that's stupid because basically, you know, you need more money to live on than what the hell I was dealing with, you know. And I just look at it now and I think, well, that's stupid. You know what I'm saying? Like if I'm asked for $20, $30 or whatever, 40 or $50, and then somebody makes a big ass deal about it. I got bills where shit, my bills can total up to, well over like, my bills can, go over like $300. You know what I'm saying? So, I look at it and just say, if you have somebody that like in your family, whether it's like your parents or siblings or other people in your family who make you feel like shit over asking for money that you need, but you needed to live or something like that, like you need to feed yourself or something like that, or for something else, don't let yourself feel like shit. You know what I'm saying? My advice would be to try to find a way to make money, for yourself. Personally, if the person's in your family, they shouldn't have a problem giving you money if you need it, to do something constructive. You know what I'm saying? Or to live, like to eat and have something to drink or whatever. That shouldn't be a problem. You know what I'm saying? So I want to point that out right now. You know what I'm saying? Don't be content with meager means, okay? Where you're living off nothing. Don't be content with that because that can become your own personal hell, and you don't want that to be like that. So let's move on. The feeling of being trapped. So in the dream, I felt like no matter what I did, there was no way for me to get out. You know, in the dream because I was at my mom's house and I felt like I could not leave. And um, the feeling of being trapped. I think the reason why I felt like there was no way for me to get out of feeling trapped in the dream, was because like I was in the dream. I didn't realize it. I think I was like an adult, but I guess I was going through like those childhood feelings or something. And so when you're like a kid or you're a teenager and you're under the age of like you're like under the age of 18 or whatever, and you live under like the roof of your parent or some other relative, there's not a lot you can do. You just have to deal with the situation up until you can get up and leave the situation. You know what I'm saying? Which is why I felt trapped, because as a kid, there were situations where um like where I went through periods of not having like food. There was periods of time where I went through like not having electricity in the house. The electric like the stuff would get turned off. There was experiences of like you know not having, like I said, like not having a stove and not having a refrigerator and stuff like that, and stuff, and having to just live with what we had, and stuff. There was times when we didn't have gas to heat our water either. So like, you know, and me having to think about bills and stuff like that before a lot of kids even think about bills or taxes on a house or whatever. I mean, as a kid, and not having those things and feeling trapped, that sucks. you know and what I want to say is that the dream was right. I did feel trapped. I did feel like there was nothing I can do. I tried to get like a job, but I wasn't able to find a job because I was in high school. And so, and there was not a lot of jobs around where I lived that was going to be, hiring me and stuff like that. Because I was like applying for like stores, that was like, I said like on a bus ride, it would take like 20 minutes to get there, right? And they weren't very far from me, but it would take 20 minutes to get there. And so, like, what sucked is that I didn't have a means to get out, you know, and so I just had to deal with feeling trapped and being in that situation. Now, one of the things that helped me was, in my real actual life is the fact that when I got a car. So when I got my car, like got the car that I drive now, and stuff like that, then and I got it because my dad or whatever. So when I got the car, I used every opportunity I could to leave so that I would not have to deal with, the things that were bothering me about the situation. I was up and gone. I would go and by this time I had like a boyfriend. I was in college once I had a car. So I would be going seeing my boyfriend and I would be going to see him who is, my fiance. And I'll be going seeing him, and me and him would be hanging out and stuff like that, you know. And I think leaving the house was good because it helped me get away from that stress, that high amount of stress that I had and stuff like that. Uh, Now the lady in the dream, I don't know. I don't know who the lady in the dream was. I'm not really sure who she was. Um, I can only guess that she was a force that was there to keep me trapped in this situation and make me feel like I couldn't leave it and make me feel like I had to go through what I did. Now, the person in the dream, like the lady, was not my mom. She wasn't my mom. It was like it was some woman that that I didn't know, I've never seen before, but she was just there to kind of keep me stuck there. And I think that maybe she was like a thought form, something that had been a collection of negative energy that I released, like, and stuff like that, through like there being like me feeling like I couldn't have peace, feeling like that frustration about having to have meager means and not be able to do anything, not feel good enough and stuff like that. All those bad feelings I think made this particular woman and stuff a mean woman, and that is what prevented me from leaving and going somewhere. That's what I think it was, or she was anyway. Now, in the dream, fear. I had this at one point in the dream. I think the thought form lady said something about said something, and I was like instantly had this high amount of fear, and I think the fear that I was experiencing in the dream was the fear of the unknown. Um, with the fear of the unknown, the fear of the unknown can definitely scare anybody. And the reason why I say it's the fear of the unknown is because my mom told me this story when I used to live with her. And it was a story about like what happened during one of the wars. I don't know if it was World War II, World War One, whatever. Might be World War II. But basically what happened is that there was these prisoners that were captured during the time of the war. And the prisoners that were captured were like military people from the opposing side. So I'm just gonna say you got the people that are the Nazis. Okay, I'm just using them as an example. I don't really know or remember those Nazis, but that's what I can guess. So you had the Nazis and they had these prisoners. The prisoners happened to be military men who were from, the opposing forces. I don't know what country or whatever and stuff. I guess you could say it was like, the Allied forces or whatever. So it could be prisoners from military men from like U.S. or France or whatever, or maybe a mix of the Allied forces, whatever. I'm not turning this into a history lesson. But the thing was is that there was and I'm using the Nazis as an example because, everybody knows them as being the other side for World War II. So just go on me on this. So what happened was that there was so you got the Nazis. And they lined the prisoners up, you know, and the prisoners were up. And what they did was that they lined them up and they were given a choice of what would happen to them. Either they could face the firing squad, which were guys with guns who would shoot them to death, or they could go through this door, okay? And it was a door, and basically that door was the unknown, okay? That's basically what it was, because nobody knew what was behind that door, okay? So one by one, each of the prisoners decided to choose the firing squad. They all chose it. Then it came down to this one guy. The Nazi captain asked them, okay, which do you want to do? Do you want to do the firing squad? Do you want to do go through that door or whatever? Because, everybody else chose the firing squad, so you can choose, that, at least you have comfort in that, or you can choose the door. And what happened was is the guy thought about it for a minute. And what the guy decided to do is he chose to go through the door, because nobody else had chosen. He was like, well, what do I have to lose? Either way, I'm probably going to die either way, so I might as well just choose something different, And I think it was probably a lot better to choose the door because, who wants to hear somebody getting, shot to death and screaming or whatever. So the guy chose the door. And what happened was is that the Nazi captain said, okay, all right, go over and go through that door, across the way. So the guy walked, so he, walked. So let's say the firing squad is over here. So the guy walked the path, and everybody knew what the guy was doing. So the guy walked, past the firing squad. Like the guys was over here, and you would stand right here if you was gonna choose it. Okay, and so the guy walked past the firing squad over there, like in a direction. Um, walked, walked over to the door. And what happened was the guy, you know, turned the knob, walked through that door, closed it behind him. And do you know what was behind that door? Behind that door was freedom. There was a lot of people who had chose the firing squad because it was something they was certain of and they knew what would happen. But for the guy, when it got down to him, he decided to take his own way, and go his own path, that was different from everybody else's. And it ended up, he received freedom. And, assumably, him being free, he was able to go and, live the rest of his life. But, that story about the unknown, this is a story my mom told me. And I think there's a lot of people who are afraid of the unknown, just like I was. I was afraid of the unknown because I was afraid of, telling people about my situation. I was afraid of that. And I was afraid of making choices that I wanted to make in order to get out of it, um, And so because of that, it led me to, because I was afraid of the unknown, it made me suffer from what was around me, you know. But, now I realize that sometimes going into the unknown is one of the most beneficial things, just like the guy going through the door. Because going through the unknown, at least when you do so, it is something that can help you to seek a sense of salvation, a sense of peace, okay? And be able to live out the rest of your life doing whatever it is that you want to do, okay? So, yeah, now I do realize that these feelings, I do realize because I had a dream about them, these feelings are still stuck inside. Just because I'm talking about them doesn't mean they're going to go away. The best way I know to get rid of them is to meditate to get rid of them. And, I'm going to go through a process of doing it to see what happens. But, I think that the best thing to do is to meditate that stuff away and let go of that stuff so you can move forward. Because what a lot of people don't realize is the same traumas and things that they have from their childhood still stay stuck in them until they deal with those things. Praying them away is not going to work. It ain't going to happen like that. Because those feelings are still going to be there. And you have to remove them yourself. And once you remove them yourself, it might take a bit, but you'll start to feel better and feel happier, you know. So that's pretty much what I wanted to talk about, is about how my dream relates to real life and the fact that I have to deal with those feelings. And I'm ready to face those feelings now, and move forward into a better and brighter future rather than still being tied down by those old feelings, because with those old feelings inside, I'm never going to be able to move forward, and I want to be able to do so. So, guys, I wanted to share this dream with you and how it connects to real life for me, because I want you guys to know that, the best way for you to move forward in life is to deal with those things in, your childhood, your childhood, your adulthood, whatever is causing you trauma, to deal with those things and let go of them so you can move forward in your life and not let them haunt you and keep you. So, yeah. Thank you guys for watching. This has been Butterfly Spirit, aka Michelle. And I'll see you guys in another video. Bye-bye.